Hello all. So today we had invited several localities who are part of the phase 2 of the locality beautification, and a presentation was made by our DPO and planning department on some suggestive designs of what you can do with beautification, because this being a wonderful scheme, what we have seen is we need to create some durable assets and which can be of utility as well. So we did a little research and we came up with some presentation of suggestive ideas. Of course, it's up to the localities to decide, and today this presentation was given to all the localities, but I feel that since many people were not there, only few representatives were there, so this message has to go to all the localities so that we can have some good assets in the future as well. So we will just I will just discuss the presentation here, and starting with the first slide, this is giving some ideas about landscaping and how this beautiful flower beds and other designs can be implemented if the space and if the locale is right for it. Then this can be really wonderful. There's nothing more beautiful than the nature, and if this natural kind of beautification can be taken up in a few localities, few areas of the localities, then of course it requires a little maintenance, but I think when the locality comes together, it's should not be much of an issue. So these are some suggestive ideas. Of course, you can come up with your own ideas, and based on the local variety of flowers and plants, decorative plants, which can be put. And so this is one idea. Moving on to the next is obviously street art and murals. Now here I just want to suggest is that we must do something which is more long lasting, and simply using the normal paints will not last even a year, because we all know that we have very high rainfall here, and we need these assets to stay, because lot is being invested into it. So we must also ensure that these assets, these beautification efforts are long lasting, and that is why we need to go with some superior quality, perhaps paints, and some unique ideas where these maybe they should be covered and protected from the rains, and there can be some little shed over it, or they can be in areas where which is there is no direct rainfall on that kind of portion. So some good messages, educative messages, encouraging especially to our youth, can be put here. Welcome messages can also be put. So it's up to the localities, but this is another way of beautification. Then another way is putting some signages. So it's very important that of course on roads the signages are put by the respective department, but within a locality or at the entrance of a locality, I think it's a good idea to have a beautiful signage so that it acts like a identifier, and at the same time it adds to the beauty of the locality. So these are some of the ideas, and again here the keyword is that longevity of it, and it should basically be made of materials which stand this high rainfall, and which are long lasting. So this is another way. Then there is a lot of ideas which we see in modern day parks, which is the alongside the streets as well, and which is with street furniture, like how if there is space along the street, and if the street offers some kind of viewpoint or a gathering point, then these street furniture can be used, and this can be of many shapes and varieties, and it can also include some kind of a plantations as well. So these are some basic ideas. Of course, you can look for more options over the internet, and perhaps you can come up with more such ideas. So next is, of course, I mean, it is very specific to those localities who have their own park, and or else they have the land to create such an infrastructure, because that over the time such things can happen, and basically it can be a long term project in phases, and over several phases of beautification these kind of things can be achieved. But it will be a wonderful thing because it is like an enclosure, it is guarded, and it is isolated basically, and it can be maintained and protected well. So these kind of community parks also will be a good idea for locality beautification. Then monument signs, or as previously discussed, it can be signages, it can be the names of the localities, it can be some motivational thoughts, it can be proverbs, it can be anything which is encouraging to the youth, etc. And it can be anything else, but the key here again is that we need to make it long lasting basically. So just go through all these ideas, and select the materials which will withstand the rain and the heat, and at least for the next 10 years we should target that these structures should be there. So another basic simple one is like a armor stone or a garden wall. These are sturdy structures, so which will withstand, and you can plant materials inside. So this is also one variety of beautification. Now another very interesting thing is that this mosaic art, now if we go with normal paints and all, they will definitely wither away with a couple of seasons of rain, and it's very difficult to ensure that they stay. And these kind of mosaic arts will be much more durable, and this is and many new designs and different shapes can be achieved through this. So this is something very unique, I think, which we have not experimented. So maybe we can go with this in this second phase of beautification. These are some other examples of the mosaic arts. Now another very beautiful idea is of using materials from the waste. So we have been talking about recycling and reusing our plastic products. I remember we made one when I was SDO Dadengre here and looking after SPM. So we made one plastic bottle based toilet, basically a community toilet, which was instead of bricks, plastic bottles filled with sand was used. It's in Asanang, you can still see it along the highway. And so similarly, using the bottle cap, such beautiful art can be made. So it's just such a wonderful use of materials which we are just throwing away. And since we are also working on dealing with the garbage and recycling as much as we can, I think going with this bottle cap kind of, or any other plastic material, basically from waste plastic, if we can create structures, this will be really wonderful. And I really hope some of the localities take up this idea and come up with some beautification design made of waste products. So this is something which I really look forward to. Then there can be pottery and different we have so many talented youths who are interested in drawings and designs and stuff. So their help can be used in these kind of things. And this is another example of mosaic, and combining it with sitting bench, and basically on the footpath as well. So these are some creative ideas, and these are some creative tables which, if you are going for some kind of garden, or sit in besides the streets, and these models can be used. Another very good idea is this wall fountain and water feature basically falls. So these are of course these has to be maintained, and some kind of power support has to be given, and these kind of cannot be right on the street, maybe somewhere inside. And if you have some kind of a monument or some kind of a inside structure, so these can be used. But these are really very pleasant as the flowing water is always pleasant. So these kind of structures can also really add to the beauty as well as to the whole feel of the place. And these are some other ideas of a garden bench, how we combine sitting with plants. It's really, these are all modular and modern ideas which can be used. And then a couple of more ideas, circular bench basically with a tree. And these are some of the examples from what we have seen in Shillong recently. Very nicely done. This one is like a signage, then a flower bed, wall paintings, and so on and so forth. So basically here I want to mention is that these are the some suggestive ideas. We are just giving some suggestions, and of course it is up to the localities to decide and finalize. But since it is for the beautification of the whole urban area and the district as a whole, my only suggestion and request would be to go for durable structures. If we can create some durable at the same time aesthetic structures which are long lasting, that will be really be helpful to improve the beautification of the district, and at the same time good utilization of resources. So these are some ideas, and I hope you found it useful, and in fact these can be used later on also in the next phases of locality beautification. So having said that, I look forward to some good assets coming up in the localities, and we will try to improve further in the third phase, and we will try to come up with more ideas based on the experience of phase 1 and phase 2. So all the best to all the localities. I hope this was helpful. Thank you, Mithila.